Hey, good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, April the 16th, 2022. And all week, actually, for the last 2 weeks or so, my team and I, we've been working very diligently to answer all the questions that we have been getting from so many of you in our community about holding companies, about business structures, about systems and processes, but more importantly, it's been about the holding company concept. So many entrepreneurs, so many startup companies, so many people who are entering into the entrepreneurial world are looking for ways to not just start businesses, but ways to maximize the businesses that they start. And of course, you're able to maximize it when you're making money and when you have your products and services being purchased by customers and clients. But sometimes just building an infrastructure that actually makes sense to you, an infrastructure that actually works, and an infrastructure that gives you the freedom and the flexibility, the leverage and the liberty to really take your ideas and start processing them in a different way, it can ultimately lead to further maximization. So what I mean by that is, if you are a business owner and you have a holding company structure and you understand the concept of that holding company, then the likelihood of your success increases, period, just because you're not limited to operating a business that's exclusively and primarily for the purpose of selling a product and a service. That's one of the distinguishing factors between a holding company and an operating company. So, whatever the industry is that you're in, whatever the products are that you're selling, whatever the services are that you're providing, those industries, those products and services are typically packaged in a business that's considered to be an operational business. Well, on the other hand, a holding company is not necessarily packaged that way. A holding company is packaged to own the ownership interests of these operating entities, to own the assets, the intellectual properties, the trademarks, the copyrights, the equipment that these operating entities may be using in order to function as a business in the marketplace. And so just that fundamental distinguishing factor, it gives you the ability to really start looking at your business as an asset and your holding company as an asset that you're using to manage other assets in the form of businesses. So right now we have a special going for our holding company course and startup kit. It's a very, very comprehensive training course to teach you all the fundamentals of what a holding company is, how a holding company works, what you actually need to do with the holding company in order to run the day-to-day operations of it. Just in the question and answer segments alone, we have about 40 questions and answers that we provide outside of all of the other modules and training components that we provide. We're offering it for only $497. So if you want to take us up on that, you can either go to RamonPreston.com. You can click training, and it will prompt you to our training platform where you can find our holding company course and startup kit. We can also simplify it by just processing your payment and onboarding you on our end when you text the words holding company. Text the words holding company to 404-478-7213. So let me give you just a overview of some of the questions that we ask and provide answers for. We actually have 5 modules within this program that are just dedicated to answering some of the most common complex questions that a lot of people have. Of course, we provide hours and hours of training. We provide the documents and the forms that you would need. We walk you through with tutorials on how you can actually start and structure your holding company yourself. We show you how to get your EIN number, but how to categorize that EIN number to associate it to a holding company, as opposed to getting an EIN for an LLC wherever you are, but that EIN and that LLC is really not connected with regard to it being categorized as a holding company. We give you tutorial walkthroughs for that. We show you how to obtain your articles of organization and how to add into your articles what the primary purpose of this holding company is. We provide for you an operating agreement so that you can draft your operating agreement to reflect what your holding company is about. And when you circle back around, whether after starting your holding company or when you're doing it, when you circle back around to start your operating entities that will be owned by your holding company, we show you the proper wording that needs to be used in order for it to be literally owned by your holding company. A lot of people, they start multiple LLCs. They make themselves the owner, or them and their spouses or partners, and then you find yourself owning several LLCs, trying to use this holding company concept, but it's just structured improperly. So we want to fix those problems. We want to resolve those problems, and we make it easy for you to do it. Of course, if you need us as consultants or coaches to work with you personally, we have consulting services. We have programs that are catered to those who need that additional help and support. So again, we have about 40 questions currently just in this program, and many other training lessons. So let me give you an example of some of the questions. How many businesses can I have under my holding company? What's the best state to register a holding company? How do you license intellectual property, equipment, or other assets? How should we position our kids and families in our holding companies? Just common, complex questions. What is the best way to get funding for your holding company? How do income categories work within a holding company? How does real estate work within a holding company? Can a holding company actually do business? What is the biggest disadvantage of owning a holding company? Why do entrepreneurs need a holding company? What are the tax advantages of a holding company? What is the difference between an investment company and a holding company? What is an asset transfer agreement within a holding company? What is a lease agreement within a holding company? Can a holding company own a nonprofit? Can a trust own a holding company? Should W-2 employees and 1099 independent contractors own holding companies? How should the articles of organization be filed or worded for a holding company? What are the differences between a series LLC and a holding company? More questions. Should I use a subsidiary for investing in stocks, bonds, or other paper assets? Does a holding company file taxes? Does my holding company need to file for a DBA for other business ventures? Is it wise to use your government name as the title of a holding company? Can you change the name of a holding company? Can you operate business activity out of a holding company? How does managing the day-to-day operations of a holding company work? So we have about 40 questions. We have so many other lessons, tutorials, documents, forms, just in this one program. Again, you could go to ramonpreston.com, click our training menu item, take a look at all the training programs we have, the business and financial programs we have. We have a specific program dedicated to holding companies, or you can just text the words holding company to 404-478-7213.